for that, but I'm very happy to see everyone on the group in here. And I would like to welcome everyone that came for our live. So Curly, please, first of all, speak about yourself. Tell us who you are, who you're representing, and what are we going to have today?
Yes, so my name is Carly Dawdell. I am on the ShipBob partnerships team. I've been with the company for a little over 4 years now, so really have been with the start of the company. And today I'm going to be presenting on who a 3PL is, who ShipBob is, and how e-commerce brands like everyone on this call can take advantage of distributed inventory.
This is amazing. So for those of you that don't know somehow ShipBob, maybe I'll start with a couple of words. But a moment before, I would like to tell everyone to share a comment, say that you're here, wish us a good evening, and we would be able to get a bigger exposure for other people that that are just now watching us. So for those of you that don't know ShipBob yet, so ShipBob is one of the most scaling, fast-growing logistic and shipping company, not only in the US, but also in other companies as well. So speaking about that, I think that Kelly would show us in a moment in her presentation more about ShipBob, but just to speak about it, first of all, it has an integration with Shopify. It works not only in the US, but also in Canada, UK, Australia, and lots of other places as well. And Kelly, I think that we will just go live and open the presentation and show a bit more.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. When you can see my screen, just let me know because I won't be able to see you. So give me 1 second here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's go ahead. Awesome. Can you see my screen?
So, not yet.
No?
No, not yet.
Not now either?
Not yet.
Tricky. All right, let's try this one more time. Everyone bear with me. Maybe what I'll have you do if you can't see my screen right now is maybe I will have you share your screen with my presentation and I can just tell you when to go next.
This is a possibility as well, of course.
Because I'm not sure why you can't see my screen.
Try to use your Chrome extensions as well. And once again, if you're here, please say hi, comment, like while we are sharing.
If you're here, tell us where you are located. I always think that's a good one.
Yeah, as well. And by the way, what we are going to speak about today, by the time that Kelly is looking for her presentation or sharing the screen, I would also like to tell you that we will speak about the opportunity and option for some entrepreneurs that would like to store in the US, or speak about how fast can they ship to other locations as well. What is the advantage of local shipping instead of international, and when it will be a good time to do it. And we're just on time because I can see your screen.
Perfect.
Perfect. I guess you can see it as well. I will hide myself at the moment and put your screen bigger.
Awesome. Cool. So I will be talking to everyone today about automating your Q4 logistics and beyond and how you can achieve distributed inventory. So again, my name is Carly Dodell and I work with ShipBob. So I want to start off with the basics. I want to give everyone a good understanding of ShipBob, what we do, and how we help e-commerce owners. So ShipBob is a global logistics platform that fulfills e-commerce orders for direct-to-consumer brands. We have 30 global fulfillment centers. We offer custom packaging. We offer our merchants to have gift notes and inserts. We are a carbon neutral fulfillment company. We have B2B capabilities as well. And we have 100% coverage for 2-day delivery across the US. And we have 30 direct integrations. And then we are located in the US, Canada, Ireland, London, Australia, and our newest one that isn't on this is Poland. So what is a 3PL? Essentially what a 3PL is in charge of is they're in charge of warehousing your physical product. And then as orders come in, they pick, pack, and ship it out. And then, of course, they do things like kitting your products. So if you have a subscription brand and it needs to go in a custom box with tissue paper, a 3PL will handle all of that. So how does ShipBob work? So how ShipBob works is we integrate with all the major e-commerce platforms. So think Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, ShipStation, basically all the major platforms, even Amazon, we integrate. So then from an e-commerce standpoint, from an e-commerce owner standpoint, how it works is you send your physical inventory to one of our fulfillment centers or multiple fulfillment centers, and then we integrate with your Shopify store. And then as orders come in, we pull those orders from your Shopify store in every 30 seconds, and then we pick, pack, and ship them out. So at the simplest form, that is what ShipBob does. You can think of us as the Amazon for e-commerce brands. It's really what we're trying to do is achieve 2-day shipping for e-commerce brands. So what I really want to focus on and talk about today is distributed inventory, which is the operational strategy of splitting inventory across multiple fulfillment centers to get products to the end customer faster and more affordably, especially during Q4 and even beyond. So essentially what this means is ShipBob can look at a e-commerce owner's historical shipping data. We just need you to pull, a good picture, maybe 3 to 6 months of historical shipping data from your Shopify, your BigCommerce, your WooCommerce store. And then we can essentially tell you where to split your inventory in the US to achieve 2-day shipping. And really what that's doing, it's getting it to the end customer faster, right? So if you have an order that the end customer is in LA, that order is going to route from our LA facility. If you have a customer in the Midwest, that order is going to route from our Chicago fulfillment center. And then similar to the East Coast, it can go out of our New York fulfillment center. So really what that's doing is it's getting the order to the end customer faster and more affordably, because instead of coming from maybe a central hub from the US and all over, it's coming from a fulfillment center that is way closer to your end customer, which is obviously really important. What I tell e-commerce owners when they're evaluating 3PLs is you want to make sure your inventory is closer to your end customer. And oftentimes, as we all know, everyone is spread out across the whole entire world. So you want to make sure that your inventory is also spread out. So splitting your inventory is not only for the US, right? You can also do it internationally. And that's really where I think ShipBob excels, because not only do we have 20 fulfillment centers in the US, we also have international fulfillment centers as well, which is really important. You want to find a 3PL that you can have everything fulfilled from, right? They can fulfill your US orders and they can fulfill your international orders. And you're not having to work with 2 fulfillment companies because that can lead to a lot of complexities. So When you have stock internationally, really what it helps with is reducing carrier costs and transit times, right? So instead of having to ship all of your orders from the US overseas, you can have your inventory in Australia, you can have your inventory in Poland and in London, which makes it way more cost affordable for that postage price. And then it prevents custom fees and import taxes. No one likes those. And it reduces cart abandonment. This is a big one we see. Oftentimes, our customers that don't have stock internationally can see, pretty extensive wait times, shipping times, right? It can take up to 14 days if it's going standard ground. So really having inventory internationally is going to be a huge key and really help you scale your brand even more. And then, of course, like I'm saying, it enables expansion with lower costs and less operational complexities. And so fast, reliable shipping. Thanks to distributed inventory, merchants can use ground services to offer 2-day delivery for less money than expedited shipping. Really, when you're distributing your inventory, you don't have to use premium services like 2-day air, right? Because everything should be going via ground services, which is going to be a way more cost affordable option when it comes to postage. And then how ShipBob works is we partner with DHL, FedEx, UPS, regional carriers, and local carriers. And what our algorithm does is once an order, let's say, is placed on a Shopify store and we pull it in, we go ahead and we look and we say, okay, who is the most cost affordable option and is going to get it there in 2 days or less? And then we choose that carrier and ship it out via that carrier. So I know I've talked a lot about distributed inventory and achieving that 2-day delivery, but I really want to talk about why having 2-day delivery is so important. So I always like to highlight this stat. 67% of shoppers expect 2-day delivery. And I really think that this just speaks to Amazon has really kind of set it in everyone's heads that we should have everything in 2 days or less. I know I expect everything, in 2 to 3 days or less. And the brands that are able to achieve that, I find myself going back to time and time again. So it's really just important that you have 2-day delivery, whether it's free delivery, whether it's not, making sure it's a cost affordable rate. So 2 days is obviously important because it encourages repeat purchases by meeting expectations with fast and on-time delivery. Like I said, I think everyone kind of just expects that 2-day delivery, 3-day delivery. It converts more shoppers by offering 2-day shipping to reduce cart abandonment. If you're like me, you are a procrastinator. And oftentimes when it comes to the holidays, I am late to buying gifts. So 2-day really helps me. And if a brand isn't offering 2-day or 2 days just really expensive, I oftentimes will have to go to a competitor or find a different product that has 2-day available. And then it entices shoppers to spend more to unlock free 2-day shipping by using spend thresholds greater than your current AOV. So this is something that I've seen our merchants do time and time again, is they say, spend $200 and unlock free 2-day delivery, which I think is really smart and a great way to get that AOV up. And so unlocking 2-day delivery, how it works with ShipBob is you don't have to be, you don't have to have 5 fulfillment centers. Essentially, if you want to even just have 1 fulfillment center, if we know we can get the order there in 2 days or less, it will populate for that end customer at their checkout. So let's just say, for example, you're a newer brand, you're maybe doing around 400, 200 shipments per month, and you're like, hey, I'm not at the point where I want to have stock all over. I just want 1 fulfillment center. No problem. We usually recommend fulfillment centers in Chicago, Illinois, or Dallas, Texas, just because they're very central to the US and they cover a wide range in 2 days. So even if you're just using one fulfillment center, and that customer is checking out, and let's say they're in Chicago and we know we can get it there in 2 days or less, that 2-day option will populate at that cheaper rate, not that premium, air service rate. So that is special to ShipBob. Like I said, 2-day is our bread and butter. It's really what we are good at. It's what we are known for, and it's what we excel at. So I want to talk about shipping zones. So on the left, you can see a customer of ours that is using one fulfillment center in California. So you can see pretty much all of the East Coast gets neglected, right? You can see the blue and purple means up to 5 to 6 to 7.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I have lots of questions, but I'm just keep on quiet to do it at the end. But please try to exit from the presentation and open it once again because we can't see the map. So that's it.
Yeah, here, let me try. Awesome. Can you see my presentation now?
No, in a sec, but at the meanwhile, while you're doing it, I had a couple of questions, by the way.
Yeah, go for it.
So, there's a huge logistic change global problem at the moment, and I wonder how ShipBob is dealing this one as well. I see your presentation, by the way, so I'll put it in here, but just keep it in mind, and I'll be quiet till we'll do our Q&A. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, so please comment. So we would be able to show it to Kelly and, of course, answer it.
Perfect. Yeah. And I will get that question at the end because it is such an important question. And ShipBob is doing some really exciting things about how we're getting freight into the US, which I can discuss at the end. But just want to make sure you can see my presentation all good now.
Yeah, all good. Amazing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so like I was saying, I want to show you guys real live examples. So this is a customer using one fulfillment center in California. You can see the whole East Coast is between, 6 to 7 days shipping. However, when you switch to just 3 fulfillment centers, you basically see all of that purple and blue go away, right? And this is just by having a fulfillment center in California, Texas, and in PA, Pennsylvania, right outside of New York. So you basically can see you get pretty much, 80% coverage for 2-day in the continental US with just 3 fulfillment centers. And if you were to turn on 4, you would see this map look completely different as well. So this just really highlights that the more fulfillment centers you have, the more you can achieve 2-day shipping at standard ground shipping rates, which is really important. Okay, and last but not least, I want to talk about the WMS, which stands for Warehouse Management Solution. So essentially how it works with ShipBob, no matter how many fulfillment centers you have one central dashboard. It shows you all of your inventory throughout every fulfillment center. So it will show you how much stock you have in Chicago, how much stock you have in California, and how much stock you have maybe in Pennsylvania, right? And so you don't have to, manage multiple dashboards. Everything is in one place, in a concise place for you to see everything. And then ShipBob integrates with your entire tech stack, or we try to, right? We want to integrate with your Shopify. We want to integrate with your customer service tools like your Gorgeous or your Zendesk. And we want to integrate with your, more robust inventory management system. So really, ShipBob tries to integrate with your entire tech stack, which is definitely a plus. You want to make sure when evaluating 3PLs that your 3PLs talk to all your other software. And then this is a customer example. They are Blacklaw, and essentially in this quote, they talk about how they use our US, EU, and UK fulfillment centers. how we make it really easy for them because everything is in one centralized dashboard to manage all of their fulfillment. And then here are some holiday tips. Secure a 3PL, forecast in demand, make sure you have shipping options set up correctly, making sure you have 2-day shipping populating in your checkout, make sure you're distributing your inventory, have a single source of truth, make sure you're really confident in that WMS, that dashboard, and then have an unboxing experience. I think that's really key post-holiday is making sure, you are driving loyalty and building brand awareness. And then an exclusive offer we have for everyone on this call today is we're offering $500 in free shipping credits. And if you want to see if you qualify for that, I have my email. I will share it in the chat and just reach out to me directly and I will get you all set up. So thank you. And then I will hand it back over and we will go into our QA.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just split screen like that. And thank you for your presentation. It's amazing. But here you go. We have tons and tons of questions. So the first one was about a global logistic change problem that we have right now. So you start mentioning that the best solution is warehouses and put it globally. But let's say that I'm just going to into a new market. What would be my strategy?
Yeah, so someone that's diving into a new market, I mean, ShipBob does make it really cost affordable for you to have your stock internationally. However, if you are just in the US and you're like, hey, I'm not at the point where I want to have stock in Australia or London or anywhere like that, that's fine. ShipBob does have discounted rates. So we can ship from the US to, overseas and other countries. So I would recommend if you're a smaller brand, just focusing on your fulfillment and making sure that your 3PL is set up to ship internationally.
Speaking about the US, I think that many of the Israelis like to conquer the US or just go into the US market as their first market out of Israel. And for that reason, I was wondering whether we should go to mid-south countries such as Texas, as you mentioned, or should I go to the place that I know that most Israeli probably know someone, maybe have families on the East Coast, Miami or New York?
I think that you can do it a couple of ways. I think it really also depends on the product, right? Like if you're a swimsuit brand, you really are probably going to want to be in Florida, so East Coast, and you're probably going to want to have some on the West Coast as well, just because due to seasonality, those are warmer states in the US. So you'll definitely have more orders there. And then if you're just completely not sure, I always recommend like safe bets are Texas and Chicago, just because they're so central and they have a wide reach. And then as you're, kind of developing, I say you need at least 3 months of shipping data. And then in ShipBob's dashboard, we'll actually make recommendations like based off your orders. And we'll say, hey, have you ever thought of having some stock on the East Coast? It looks like majority of your inventory is going there. And then ShipBob can actually help facilitate that freight from our fulfillment center to our other fulfillment center. So we can help.
Like passing all
not free. We do charge for it, but we can go ahead and coordinate everything, which is obviously hassle.
Coordination, no problem.
But we do charge for it.
Yes, of course, but it's fair enough as well. I would like to ask another thing. You've mentioned that you cooperate with DHL, FedEx, and others, but you ship as well. Ground, air, sea, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so we partner with all the major carriers, regional carriers as well. And then in Canada, like we partner with Canada Post, Royal Mail, like we pretty much partner with all the international carriers as well.
I would like to ask you something. I know that Yotam is here with us, and I hope that Yotam will say hi as well, or maybe ask you something as well. Yotam is the owner or one of the co-owners of a logistics center here in Israel, and have all the autonomic robots to collect products in his storage. And sometimes I guess that Yotam is also failing get new customers because they think the storage is a very cost effective and it's very expensive process. What would you answer about it? And yeah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to storage and pricing, that is tricky and not something I know how we've come up with like the unit economics of it. But essentially we optimize, how I will say we optimize our fulfillment centers is we have bin spaces, we have shelf spaces, and we have pallet spaces. And if you're curious on pricing, I can give that all. I can link it in the chat. But essentially, when it comes to merchants, we try to put all of their inventory closest to where all of their inventory is. So when it comes to picking and packing, the distance to having to go is a lot shortened. So that's like one thing we try to do. But when it comes to unit economics of like how we've come up with the pricing of our space, I'm not exactly sure.
That's totally fine. I would tell you that I think that you'll agree with me that there should be some kind of a minimum SKUs or minimum inventory to start it. Because if you have 5 products, let's admit that you can do it from home. But once you have enough traffic and enough sales, you'll probably must have storage. And I'll split my question into 2. So first of all, let's speak about minimum amounts that it will be fair for all, and maybe those that you are maybe more relevant customers that have more inventory and is better to cooperate with you. So let's start with that.
Yeah. So with ShipBob, I would say merchants are ready to use us when they're at around 400 shipments per month. With a SKU count of like less than like 200 SKUs. I would say it's definitely something you want to look into. If you're 400 shipments per month and have 400 SKUs, you definitely want to try to narrow that down. Typically, majority of your sales are coming from, 30% of those SKUs. So maybe just self-fulfilling some of those slower moving SKUs and having a 3PL fulfill those faster moving SKUs is what we really see merchants do. But essentially that is like ShipBob's, I would say like our minimums are like, we look for merchants to be 400 shipments per month. And that's just because that's really when it makes sense and they can justify the cost of it.
That's great. By the way, you spoke about Shopify sooner, and I know that you have you are fully integrated with Shopify, both with regular Shopify and Shopify Plus. And I would also mention that you are Shopify partners, right? A logistic partner?
Yeah, when it comes to Shopify, we are in their Shopify App Store, the Shopify Plus App Store. I would say, maybe it's like 60% of our brands are using Shopify. We were built as a Shopify, app at first. We've since expanded to other platforms, but Shopify is one of our most robust integrations. And it works seamlessly. It probably takes about, 2 minutes to integrate your ShipBob dashboard with your Shopify site. So really easy.
I would ask that only because one thing. Shopify uses AI for recommendations of where should I store my products and where, if I'm closer to my clients or not. I guess it works as well with ShipBob, right?
Yep, pretty similar. We do the same things. In the ShipBob dashboard, we have all of our fulfillment centers located. And let's say you're in just one fulfillment center, but you want to see, okay, what does it look like if I turn on ShipBob California on the West Coast? Oh, I see my postage decreases by $2 and my average shipping time is between 3 days and goes down by a day. So you can play around with all of that information within your ShipBob dashboard as well.
So it's more like recommendations, but if I would like, I can also always ring a call and ask about it, and that's great.
That's right. Yeah.
I would also like to ask a question for those of our watchers that would do drop shipping, because I think it's fair enough. And it's also a good point of view as a US citizen. I think that most of our clients are doubting whether to do drop shipping those days because of the all the problems with shipping, and so you've mentioned that most of your clients are doing 2 days shipping. What if it would take 7 to 14 days?
Yeah, so when it comes to drop shipping, I think we've honestly had a lot of merchants switch from drop shipping to 3PLs just because, especially with the carrier delays, if it's coming overseas, if it's coming by boat, we've seen stuff get stuck in the port for upwards of 5 months, just, in the LA port. But we like, when it comes to that, we really have seen a lot of people shifting from the drop shipping model. I know there's 2 types of drop shipping. There's, drop shipping from your manufacturer, and there's drop shipping when you're on marketplaces like Target.com, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, which we can actually do. But when it comes to drop shipping from overseas and then coming to the US, typically we've been seeing upwards of 20 days to get it into the US, and we've even seen longer. So really would encourage drop shippers to look at those, high performing SKUs, maybe order, a couple thousand units and have a 3PL fulfill those orders and then drop ship the rest of your SKUs.
So I would just like to speak about one thing, and this is scaling. So first of all, to connect it to my last question, I guess that people that still do drop shipping at a certain time would probably must store their inventory in the US to sell to the US to make it much faster. And it won't be that drop shipping anymore, but more of a white label, I guess. To another question, I guess that some of my clients ask me, and I referred you some of them already, and I guess that they asked you too, about scaling and the advantages of ShipBob upon the other competitors.
Yeah, so when it comes to scaling, I think really how ShipBob can help brands scale is by that distributed inventory and also our international fulfillment centers. If you're thinking about going international and you're thinking about doing a huge campaign, some advertising around it, it's really going to be crucial to have stock in those international locations. Because I always say you maybe get 2 chances to get it right. And I always say the thing that's going to get 100% open rate isn't your email. It's not your SMS. It's your actual box. So making sure it's correct is going to help you further scale. I think fulfillment is something that a lot of, brands maybe forget about, or they're like, hey, we're going to do self-fulfillment, but there just gets to a certain point where it's not worth an e-commerce owner's time to be going to UPS and DHL or 10 times a day. Let a 3PL handle it and focus on your marketing and focus on really scaling the business and letting someone else handle your shipping, because it's just not the best use of your time to be picking and packing orders.
That's for sure. Speaking about pick and packing, you've mentioned that the best thing to do is just to work on your box, if I can tell that. So I guess that you have some recommendation in this pack as well, I don't know, some gift cards or any discount for the next purchase, or anything that you can share from your experience?
Yeah, so for us, I would say our top brands all have custom packaging. I think it really helps build brand loyalty. There's a stat, and I'm forgetting it, but there's a percent of, if you send in a custom box, I wish I knew the stat. It's maybe 60%. It's going to get shared on social media. It's going to get shared on Instagram or TikTok, or they're even going to share it through an SMS. When it comes in a really well packaged box, it's more shareable, and that's just like free press and social media for e-commerce brands. And it's a pretty simple thing, as long as you're choosing the right 3PL that can do that at scale. But adding a custom box really, you know, post holiday is going to drive that merchant to come back to your store and really build that brand loyalty. And then something that's unique to ShipBob that a lot of our, I would say, competitors or just other 3PLs don't do is custom gift notes. So with Shopify,
is that sorry to interrupt, is that a service that you provide?
We do. So if you're on Shopify and you want to say, hey, Carly, happy holidays. Like, I hope you enjoy this new, like this skincare, this face cleanser, or I hope you enjoy this new shirt I picked out and thought of you. Essentially, that note will print out and we can put it in the box. So that is definitely something super unique to ShipBob and just kind of goes that extra mile for your e-commerce and their end customers.
So is that including the custom box as well, or only the postcards?
So custom boxes, we actually don't make those within our fulfillment centers. We have a couple partners that we recommend that can make custom boxes and do custom designs. And then the packing slip is something we provide. Just comes out on a white piece of paper and we can just go ahead and put it in the box.
That's amazing. I think that we would leave a moment for our watchers to leave some comments and ask some questions. So feel free. I don't like to ask my questions alone. So I guess that will give a moment if anyone would like to ask any question. And of course, I would like to mention a couple of things. I think, Carly, that we can also add the link for our discount, for our partnership with the community. So if you're on our Facebook group, you can do it right now and just comment on the post. Those of you that are not watching at the moment and will watch it later on, we'll share it, and you'll have it also in our YouTube channel and in this post on Facebook and all the groups. Hey, Alex, and thank you as well. If you're interested in any information, so you can ask as well, feel free. Yeah, thank you for a lot of information.
It is a lot of information.
So thank you, guys. I think that we don't have any other questions at the moment, but we will record it and send it to you. And thank you for all the participants. Thank you, Carly.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See ya, everyone.
Bye now. Thank you.